I think it'd be cool just like as we warm up, like, you know.
I just flipped it.
Hey, if I'm like this, does it still show the comments when they?
It should,
I
unless
can't
you have
remember.
them disabled. It should pop up that it's. Yep, see, look, there's Mike. Oh, it's lagging.
Little lag.
Oh. Fuck. I didn't think about this.
Maybe it's only because of your internet here.
Yep.
So if other people are looking at it, it might not be lagging.
No, the upload speed is not where it should be, which
Oh.
is okay. Okay, fix that.
Mike, shoot me the bird. See, it just got to you moving your computer forward.
Yeah, I
So it's
see it.
probably what, a 10-second delay.
We need to somehow. This is like all live right now, by the way. I don't know if
That's
you
fine.
watch it.
Stick your finger up.
Can this reach?
Exactly 15 seconds.
Alright.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
All right, I just started streaming, so we're just gonna go.
All right.
What would you rather see on here live?
I don't care.
I
You
don't
can
care.
Pick.
I'm-
This or not this?
I'm good now.
A little behind the scenes for
this.
everyone that's in the chat. Okay.
It's great radio.
Yeah, well, I haven't started the actual pod yet, so hey, look, who's that guy?
Okay, I'd like to see me too. All right, we're doing a solo pod again.
Yeah, just me.
Am I too loud?
I
We're not live streaming.
keep trying to hit like I have glasses on, like an idiot.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Fuck it.
Because that throws me off. The whole live stream throws me off.
You have to grow up, Mike.
So you
All right.
don't want that image on there?
Eventually, I think we should just have the chat up there if people are going to be in there chatting. But this is fine.
Put the chat up.
So if I do this,
I hope
That-
it's not this laggy for everyone. I hope that's just the Wi-Fi in here.
pop
I mean,
out
chat.
chat.
I mean, the replay wasn't laggy. So.
Yeah. No, I mean, I hope so.
Well, Grant watched it last time. He didn't say it was lagging.
It wasn't. It was fine.
That's fine.
All right. I mean, are you ready to go?
Let's go.
All right, everybody. Pot of Gold. Welcome back. I'm Brett. I'm here with Mike. Grant, the intern behind the glass. Hello, YouTube. The live stream's going. If you've been in the live stream, you've been watching us try to figure this out for the last 2 or 3 minutes. Mike, what's up, man?
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, no free ads.
No free ads. Yeah. Sponsored by Miller Lite.
Yeah. Bush.
No. Guys, for everybody that's joining us on YouTube live right now, we appreciate the enthusiasm to jump in here. What is it, 6 p.m. on your Monday night?
Yeah, welcome.
For those of you guys that are your regular listeners on your drive to work tomorrow morning, hello to you as well. So it's good to be back in the studio. I think it's been a little while.
Yeah, it's been
Good
like
job
a-
on the solo pod,
Hey,
right?
look, I'm not going to pat myself on the back, but it was really good.
I mean, just did that for you.
Yeah,
so.
well, did you listen? I don't think you
I
listened.
haven't listened
Yeah,
yet,
okay.
but I heard good things. Turn me down just a tad, Lloyd.
Right there? Like your headphones?
My headphones.
Okay.
Turn my headphones down.
Yep, yep,
Go
yep,
up a little
yep,
bit
yep,
more.
yep,
Low-
yep,
done.
Yep. Consider it
Bingo.
done.
Bingo. So we have a good show planned today.
A lot of news. We didn't really know there was going to be a ton
Yeah.
of news coming out today, but a lot of things have happened. A basketball commitment, a possible transfer.
Possible.
Yeah, we don't know.
I don't think Kelvin Joseph's leaving as of a couple hours ago. His dad denied it, but we'll talk about that. Yeah, I think Trenton Watford is huge news. We have the SEC baseball tournament coming up tomorrow, so we're gonna have Grant the intern. We have promoted Grant to producer. Have we announced that
Yeah, he's
before?
got 2 computers in front of him, so we'll see how he can handle this action today.
He is not on camera right now, but he's just behind the camera. There he is right there. We can probably, you know what, Grant, come around here real quick.
Let's not.
All right.
Too many wires. Too many wires
yeah.
in the way.
Let's not. Anyway, that's our show today. But the biggest part of our show, that's the beginning of our show. The meat
and potatoes.
The meat
I
and
knew you were gonna
potatoes
say that.
of our show today is our snake draft.
Of course.
Brett,
Mount Gordy Rushmore.
Mount Gordy Rushmore is what we're calling it. Brett, explain to the listeners and our viewers what that means.
Yeah, I mean, we pretty much just stole, pardon my takes, Mount Rushmore idea where, you take 4 guys. Who's on your Mount Rushmore of any type of topic? So today we're starting with LSU wide receivers.
Right.
Pretty tough topic.
Very tough topic. So, guys, we're going from the year 2000 to 2019. So we're going to list every position group from 2000 to 2019, and at the end of this, we're going to week by week, and by the end of this, which however many weeks that is, we're going to do special.
figure it out.
We'll do
Future us
special
has
teams
it.
as well, kickers, this, that, and the other. So we don't know exactly how many weeks it's going to take.
I almost asked you if we should throw tight ends in here, but,
I like tight ends.
well, who doesn't like a tight end?
That's gonna be a whole nother segment.
Okay, that's a whole nother podcast, says producer Grant.
But I'm just saying,
Content.
like we talked about this in Grand Isle this weekend.
Yeah. Congrats.
Well, you were invited.
I know I was.
Birthday.
I can't give you shit.
So, like D'Angelo Peterson listed with the wide receivers for a certain year, it's like, now I think he'd be a great tight end pick.
Right.
Okay, so anyway, we'll get into that, but at the end of this, we're going to have a full roster. Each of us Grant included. We're gonna have a full team in middle to the end of the pod. Obviously, like we just said, we're gonna talk about some current LSU news.
Yeah, you got a story for us in a little bit, but I think we should start off with the LSU news first.
Yeah.
Before we get started, guys, hit us up on Twitter at potofgold, potofgold@gmail.com. If you want to support the show, get a better live stream and everything, Pot of Gold. Our patreon.com/gold. YouTube is Pot of Gold. Any reviews?
No reviews. A little disappointed with you people. We don't have any new reviews, which is fine because we have more than any other LSU sports podcast combined.
Yeah, I was looking at one that's a kind of a big deal. You know, it may have a radio station attached to it. We have like double the reviews.
That's fine, and that's excellent. Guys, we appreciate that. We have a ton of reviews, a ton of great ratings, so we appreciate the feedback. We are now on Spotify, so guys,
I forgot about
if you
that.
were struggling, we are now on Spotify, so you can listen to us basically on any app there is on your phone. So we appreciate you doing that and review it on that app as well.
Yeah, why not?
Trendon Watford.
Watford. Okay.
Is
Good.
Will Wade the GOAT?
It's pretty impressive.
It's very impressive. This man is on a trial in a courtroom and turns around weeks later and lands a 5-star power forward out of Alabama.
Yeah, I look, and it was rumored that Memphis, which Penny Hardaway, I mean, the bag man is in Memphis for sure. He's crushing it on the recruiting, but it's a great job being able to keep a 5-star guy like this because it would be really easy to bail after all of the just cloud of smoke that's been surrounding LSU basketball and Will Wade. It's nice to see that this guy believes. Also, we had the return. Javonte Smart announced on Instagram, Twitter, whatever, that he's returning.
And, you know, this is a guy that we talked about for a while that this kid's gone. He's in the middle. He's amongst kind of a turmoil. He's amongst a lot of conspiracy on whether he was paid or not, this, that, and the other. Almost like a Christian Fulton situation where it's like, I don't feel like being stuck in this bullshit anymore.
Right.
I want to go pro and make my money, regardless of how small of a time I've played.
Yeah, it was interesting.
But he's back. Nas Reed leaves, but we replace Nas with Trendon Watford. I don't think we get Watford unless Nas leaves. I think it was one of those things where Will Wade has such a great vision for the future of LSU that he said, okay, I'm getting Nas Reed as a one and done, and then I'm going to get Trendon Watford out of Alabama. And that was his plan all along. The fact that he recovered from his name being drugged through the mud says a lot about what is to come with LSU athletics, especially in basketball. Whenever Will Wade is cleared of all of this, and this is well in the past, if he's doing this now while his name is in the mud, imagine, boot up.
One of the things that Watford said today of like what drew him to Will Wade and LSU, he said he loved the staff, and I don't remember if it was his dad or him, but they mentioned how meticulous everything was run in the basketball program, where it was just like almost down to a science. Like there's no room for leeway. It's like this is the Will Wade way of doing it. If you're on board, great. If not, kick rocks.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody, but it's for a lot of them.
The basketball program for a little while there, for a good while there, it was a roller coaster, and we were down in the dumps thinking this is it, and that was an exciting little tease. But it looks like things are back to normal, and we are on the trajectory of being an elite program. And so pretty incredible that we pulled a 5-star power forward out of Alabama, Trendon Watford. He was down to Memphis, Indiana, Alabama, 5-star.
And Duke kind of came sniffing around late.
Of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This is what I'll say about his commitment. Okay, I watched the live stream. Why don't these kids fit the hat before the signing day? I don't understand it. And
or
listen,
buy like an actual hat and not like the most I don't know. The hats are always weird.
Nothing against Trendon or any of these guys.
Yeah.
If you have long hair, if you have a full mane.
But can you get like a size 12 gallon, like a 12-gallon hat to put on that?
But at the end of like their speech, it's fit. But it takes them a good 5 minutes of adjustments. It's like, dude, adjust it the night before.
Yeah.
Because you know what hat you're pulling out.
Well, maybe he didn't. Who knows?
I mean, he didn't just pick that LSU hat out. That was one he had hidden.
Yeah.
He had the black one on the table, and he pulls out the purple and white one.
I didn't watch it. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know. I'm nitpicking. I'm nitpicking here. But
look, you're right. It's an epidemic. It's an epidemic of the hats not fitting. I'm with you.
It's something that it irks me when I watch these kids like. announce their decision, and then like people are like, "Oh, Trendon, so tell us what went into the decision." And the whole time it's like ugh, adjustments. It's like,
You're
dude,
right.
you know what you're doing. Put it on last night and have it perfectly fit whenever it's time for you to talk. Anyway, Trendon Watford commits to LSU. Big boost to the recruiting class. Fills big shoes with
McDonald's
Nasrid.
All-American, you know?
Absolutely. I think, and he even talked about how Mays is now going to come back.
Yeah.
He mentioned this. Emmett Williams. We talked about Smart announcing today that he's coming back, or yesterday. I don't forgot what day it was. But,
Skylar Mays?
right, that's what I'm saying. Watford
Yeah.
said that Mays is coming back now.
Yeah.
So I think the only guy we need to replace is Bigsby Williams. And so that's a big body that we need to replace from this last season. I trust Will Wade to have a plan. I think we're in the mix for a transfer as a big man.
Yeah, this guy's done nothing. Like, he has a plan. You have to believe. It's like trust the process with this guy.
It is, and at the same time, it's like, look, if next year was supposed to be our rebuilding year, and the only person that we need to replace is Bigsby Williams,
Right.
I think we're good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Look, like you said, this guy's going to get what he needs to fill this out. And even if he gets guys that maybe aren't ranked super high on any of these ranking websites, he's done a great job in his career of finding guys that can kind of play in his system and fill roles that, you know, he doesn't need to go get all the 5 stars in the world. It's not like we're Kentucky and Duke. You know,
No, but we will be.
one day if we can hold on to him.
God willing.
Yeah, Will Wading. Wait, no, that didn't work.
It didn't work. I will wade for you, though.
Okay.
Do we have a comment?
Oh, how long you been running for? It's only been about 8 minutes.
8
10
minutes.
Stopped running after the Crescent City Classic.
Is that Monster 32? Is that what that says? I don't have my glasses
Monster
Yeah.
32.
on. All right.
My glasses.
My glasses are off. They're actually left me. I just didn't want to have them on the live stream.
Yeah, I mean,
anyway,
you know.
Cole Henry's
Don't
back
want to look
tomorrow.
like a dweeb.
Tomorrow, Cole Henry is going to take the mount against South Carolina. So, Grant, I know you're not on camera, but let's talk some baseball.
Can I ask a question? Would the if we would have won the Sunday game or Saturday game, whenever, would that have changed anything?
Game 3, Brett.
It wouldn't have
Shut the fuck
changed
up.
the seeding. It wouldn't have changed anything.
Okay.
We
I
just,
just
we
didn't-
had to win 2 out of 3. What happened was Ole Miss lost, I'm pretty sure, 2 out of 3. So we got the 5 spot, and potentially we win tomorrow.
Bianco on
Everyone's
the hot
saying
seat.
with
Yeah.
the way the RPI, it's good for us.
So we took 2 from Auburn.
We took 2 from Auburn, pretty convincingly. We should have won on Saturday, the 3rd game. We kind of blew it there in the late in the 9th, and then went into extras, and we couldn't. They scratched the run, and we lost.
Gotcha. So tomorrow Cole Henry is set for the South Carolina game. We are the 5 seed in the SEC tournament. Landon Marceau, I think he got freshman of the week, freshman pitcher of the week in the
I
SEC.
think it was co-freshman pitcher of the week. Yeah.
His
Well, we
last
don't
two
say co.
No.
They don't want to say
it's
Only
Omaha.
if
Omaha.
we're talking about defensive coordinators.
We don't say
a great
Omaha
time
either.
for us to allow. I think it was before Saturday's game. We only allowed 4 hits in the first 2 games. I mean, our pitching staff has not done that since week 1 of the season. So
Marceau was really
especially
good.
after the last couple weeks when we've allowed.
There
double-
was like
double
talk
digit
about Marceau being flaky. I mean, do we want to talk some drama here? I mean, I don't want to spread
No,
rumors.
because that
Who knows?
That's not credible. I mean,
Okay. I didn't even see these. So.
Okay.
The rumor was that he was already tired of the team and ready to just save his arm up for when he makes it to the big.
You don't
league.
believe?
like 2
you're not
years?
buying it?
I don't really buy that.
That
But
doesn't make
I
sense.
could buy that.
Yeah, I know, right?
I could buy that.
So was
with
he going to
the-
like
with-
bench it for 2
It's like the
years?
junior in high school sitting, like Zion sitting out his senior year and freshman
and that's
year.
what makes me. It's like he can't get drafted after this year, so that's what makes me not want to believe.
And
that. I can
exactly.
see there being some rifts in the team with some
Yeah.
of these younger guys and these arm injuries, and the older guys being like, "Hey,
Man up.
man up!"
Yeah.
Dig deep. Let's
If only
show
we
some
had a
grit.
pitcher
Speaking of-
friend that we could talk about this with.
I'm sure Pearson would love to be on.
Yeah.
Again.
We'll text him.
He did a good job.
He's probably watching.
He interviewed someone recently, huh? You told me.
All right.
I'm sorry,
good job.
dude. My bad, dude. So big tournament coming up. Grant, do you have the bracket pulled up? Is there any way you can pull up the bracket? I know you asked before we went live if we'd like to see the bracket. I said no, but I'd like to see it now. Who's the 1 seed?
Vandy, I would assume. Yeah. Great radio.
Keep talking, Brett.
Yeah. Look, Vandy,
Vandy's
great
the
team.
one. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I got it
Yeah.
here. No, looks good. No, I just kind of wanted to. I kind of wanted to glance at it. So 5 versus 12. Okay, so we play tomorrow, first round, second round Wednesday. 3 Georgia. Georgia had a good season.
Right.
Georgia had a good year. Arkansas
the
with
key
the
is
second
if we
seed.
win, we play Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would rather not have to play. I mean, because we beat them 2 out of 3.
So you'd rather
in
lose?
close games. No, it's just that's not the team I'd rather be playing.
Because
but
we're not hosting right now.
If we beat South Carolina, it's pretty much we're hosting.
Okay.
From what I've.
Interesting.
Okay.
How's South Carolina? I mean, I know obviously if we're the 5,
They're a little down. I think their record's on there.
Yeah.
What does it say?
28 and 27. Is that right?
Yeah. So they're having a down year, obviously.
Um,
but then you've had a team like Vandy that won 23 games or something like that, and Georgia won 20 games. So that side
you're
had 2
talking about
really
SEC,
good teams.
okay.
Yeah, in SEC.
Yeah.
I think other news from the baseball team, if we're staying positive here, is that Garza looks like he's coming around.
So I have a stat on Garza specifically because
See that shit? That's
we've
a layup.
shit on him
Set up.
so much because he was supposed to be the big master this year.
Yeah.
And I talked him up, and we all remember that. And then he came and shit the bed. He had the little knee problem. He couldn't catch. Now,
But he changed his walkout song.
that was crucial.
Yeah.
That could have been the turning point.
It was.
Since the,
Rally
so the-
rally jam. What are we
Basically, the
calling it?
last
Yeah.
10 games, his last 10 games, he's 14 for 37 for a 378 batting average.
Okay.
That's pretty much probably the highest on the team over the last 10 games, considering we haven't hit, that well. So for him to be batting in the 100s about a month ago to now he's batting 260, he's come a long way.
Absolutely.
And he's getting hot at the right time. He's already
Hey, the
got,
bats are coming alive.
That's what
Could
she
this
said.
be an O
They're
push?
coming
Could this
alive.
be a push for O?
I don't know.
Not Ed O. I'm talking the big O.
I know what you're talking about.
Big
Back
D.
home in Big O.
That was it. So yeah, baseball.
That will never get
That
old.
sounds like
At
the
least
guy
to
on
me.
Twitter.
It does sound how. Yeah, it does. Spice Adams.
Spice Adams, shout out.
Anyway, yeah, baseball looking good, man. They had a good weekend, so hopefully we can have some good postseason play. Who is Monster 12? What did he say?
He said, well, let's ride, boys. Love the show.
Hell
Okay,
yeah. He's
okay.
going to decide.
No, he's going to decide the order, and we're going to do this right now. So, Monster 32, you're our first comment in the YouTube channel right now. We were trying to decide the draft order. So, who's going to draft first on the
Snake
wide
draft,
receivers? It's a
obviously.
snake draft, okay? So, we would like you to pick the order of the draft: Grant, Mike, Brett.
Oh, is that the order
Brett,
you want?
Mike,
Okay.
Grant, Mike, Brett, Grant. It doesn't matter. 1, 2, 3. You give us the order of the draft. Monster 32, you have been chosen. Anyway, let's give him a
Are you
second.
going to football, or do you want to tell your story? I'm talking about the transfer portal.
Let's talk Kelvin Joseph.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, spoilers. No, look, you wake up this morning, you find out that Kelvin Joseph last week has put in for the transfer portal. Then some news kind of comes out that he hasn't really spoken to the coaches. It was more like an administrative thing.
Yeah, so this morning I did read that as well. A lot of people were talking about him transferring. My first thought was not a big deal. But listen,
I was kind of with you. That's the thing.
defensive back depth
If
is
we're gonna
very
lose,
important, okay? And I think Kelvin Joseph is a hell of a defensive back. I think he can play multiple positions. I think he is a kid that needs time to develop, and I think he is going to be an SEC defensive back that is a strong contributor.
He got a lot of reps as a freshman on a top-tier defense.
Absolutely.
That's
The
the thing.
problem that he faces when it comes to depth issues, which turns out is not the reason he went in the transfer portal, is because he has Stingley and then a returning Fulton in front of him. So he will
And
not.
I think Vincent kind of has that nickel spot locked up. Honestly.
Absolutely. And then next year, you've got a 5-star Elias Ricks lined up to come in.
Well,
so
and you got the baseball kid coming in, Hampton, right?
Yeah,
Maurice Hampton.
Maurice Hampton.
I mean,
so there's a lot of depth there, and then you signed like 4 other dudes behind him with Flott, and I mean
Yeah.
the list
Right.
goes on. So Kelvin Joseph was a guy that we need to keep. We do need to keep him, but it's not a death sentence if
Right.
Kelvin Joseph leaves. It's not like Fulton decided to enter the transfer portal
Right.
or Derek Stingley's flustered and decides to quit.
as much as I like Fulton, I sneaky kind of think that our boy is already kind of taken that #1 spot.
Stingley?
Yeah.
I think Fulton's about to tear it up.
I do too.
I
I'm
think-
just telling you.
I'm just saying. I think Fulton could
understand-
sneak into that first round.
I understand you pump up the freshman and not necessarily the guy who's been there, but I mean,
Dude, Fulton's pick against Georgia,
I love Fulton.
that was like, okay.
Fulton reminded me of like the best Kevin Tolliver of all time because Kevin Tolliver was always in position, would never
That's a
turn
good
his
call.
head, and like somehow would get beat even though he had like great coverage. That's Fulton, but Fulton's like willing
Fulton's
to turn
making the
around
plays.
and make
Fulton
plays.
was so damn rusty last year until mid-season because he just never played. And then he turned it on. He got better and better and better. Then I think he got hurt towards the end of the season. He's back full strength this season. I think Christian Fulton just blows up and goes first round. But that's just me. It's not really a hot take because, I mean, he's that good. But anyway.
Kind of side note, I watched the Auburn game last night on YouTube.
Okay. How many times?
Twice. I'm not going to lie, twice. Hilaire is so freaking good at catching the ball out of the backfield. Like, I think we talked about this a week or two ago, but every one of these games I watch, he makes this, like, ridiculously nice catch, gets up the field quick, and it's just, like, I think watching it live, you don't really notice because it's, like, once or twice a game, and I think he's going to get a lot more chances now. But it was the Auburn game. Burrow threw like a high screen, and he just one-hands it and gets like 8 or 10 yards.
I think Brady, for all the talk that Brady's so excited about Burrow and like Chase and Jefferson, I think he's like licking his chops at Edwards-Helaire.
And then he's like, yeah, Emery's going to come in and be a dog.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
This dude is like, I don't know, man. It's just every time I watch these games, I've watched like 4 or 5 of them from last year now, and Hilaire impresses me every time
He's
catching
kind
the
of,
ball.
you know, and listen, I know Joe Brady probably wasn't there when Pierre Thomas was with the Saints, but he's kind of got that Pierre Thomas like
definitely not.
screen.
He was probably like 20 when Pierre Thomas was
Well,
there.
I'm just saying
with you,
that
yeah.
role that he played with the Saints
Sean
and
Payton's
how
the best screen.
he wasn't like the every down running back. You're like, yeah, there's better guys than Pierre Thomas, but like the way they utilized him in the passing game, I feel like that's what Joe Brady's going to bring with Hilaire. Anyway, so it turns out that Kelvin Joseph is not transferring. So let's get back on track here. It came out later in the day that his dad said he ain't going anywhere. This had everything to do with him being on stage with a rapper in Florida, and the LSU compliance department,
Our favorite people, yeah.
talked to him, and I think Kelvin got flustered. Didn't talk to O, didn't talk to his parents, and just put his name in the portal.
I don't want to be the next Fulton.
Out of spite, just kind of like, oh yeah, fuck you.
All right,
And then I think everyone caught wind, and his dad was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah, he didn't run this by me.
Right, and then I think O probably talked to the dad.
Well,
so,
and he was out for the bowl game. You know, I think most people remember that, but it's
listen, I think Kelvin Joseph, I think he's a guy that probably got a little butthurt recently and used the transfer portal to kind of make a statement.
I think that can happen with a lot of guys too, because this guy was probably the best kid at his high school in his district.
Scotlandville,
And, yeah,
crushed.
you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, these guys have never necessarily faced adversity or gone up against a bunch of guys. So when guys keep coming in and competition's tight, some people are like, oh, you know, this isn't exactly how I thought it was going to be.
He's also super close with Javonte Smart. So I think with him coming back.
Oh, nice. Got a dining hall buddy.
Yeah, I think he might have been like, whoa, 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 I thought you were going pro. All right, I'm back. Anyway.
I had these like terrible thoughts that he was just going to go to a JUCO and end up at Bama. Like right when I saw it,
I don't
was just
think
like, son
Kelvin.
of a-
Well, although it was down to Bama and
People
LSU.
forget that.
Hey, what'd they say? I saw you pull up the screen. We got to act quick here. Appreciate you guys putting the show together. Thanks,
Start from the
Monster.
No.
Grant the intern, then Mike, and
Oh,
Big Dog B. Big Dog B.
All right, we're changing the name officially to Big Dog B.
Wonder why Big Dog B got third round. Grant, you pick first.
That's incredible. He must like you.
okay.
I told him thanks.
I told him
Okay.
thanks.
Well, look, Monster, we really appreciate the input, the interaction, and we're going to use your order.
Yeah,
All right?
absolutely.
Okay, so listen, I have a story to tell.
Look,
Before
I
we
got a
get
beer.
in,
Okay.
yeah, you got a beer. You're going to need it. And I'm glad you're drinking Bud Heavy. So Grant,
That's what he was drinking.
that's
Bud Heavy.
the point.
Look, I'm not. This was like $7 for the 12er. That's why I picked it up. But Bud Heavy's on like the Mount Rushmore of beers.
Yeah, and we used that. We used the
Beers.
Patreon.com money to buy the beers.
Yeah,
so
thanks,
we
guys.
thank you guys for the support. Anyway, so Grant and I went down to Grandisle. We have a camp down there.
With Woodward or no?
Woodward was not there,
Okay.
and apparently his camp is in Fouchon, so it's close by, but not actually Grand Isle.
So can we trust this guy anymore?
I think so.
Okay.
Anyway, I feel like this situation that we encountered had to be talked about on the pod, just because it's a funny moment. It has nothing to do with sports.
Super random.
Super random. I think you might enjoy this.
I'm ready.
Okay. This guys, bear with us. This might take a little moment here.
So get your own beer.
Get
Crack
your
it up and
beers
enjoy.
ready.
Well, unless you're driving to work, don't do that.
It's a fun story, but after that, you get the snake draft, the Mount Gordy Rushmore.
All right,
Anyway,
Mike Solo Pod, go.
thanks, man. So windy day, yet
Breezy?
it was pretty breezy. Actually, someone drowned. Like, rest in peace. But
R.I.P. in peace.
yeah, that happened, and we actually watched the Coast Guards trying to find this guy.
Hate
He
to
was like
see
in
it.
his 30s. Anyway,
Be careful out there. boys
very
and girls.
windy, rough tide, but sunny day. It was supposed to rain, but it was actually a beautiful day. We set up our tents on the beach. Obviously, the women are with us, and that's honestly kind of key to the story.
Integral part.
So we're at the beach, and for anyone that doesn't or that has never been to Grand Isle, a couple years back they permitted side-by-sides and golf carts to be on the beach, and
Sounds like what could go wrong?
it became an epidemic.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, like, if you don't have a cart, you're not doing it
You're looked
correctly.
down upon.
Yeah, and
Big Mike's got one?
I didn't bring one,
Okay.
but my dad just sold his, so I wasn't able to borrow it. Anyway, we set up, beautiful day. We're sitting back, hanging out. What do you say? Maybe an hour into our day.
Yeah.
About an hour into the
So
day.
Grant's like 5 beers in at this point.
Ooh,
Yeah.
maybe more. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
2 shots of tequila.
all of a sudden, this guy pulls up in his side-by-side, and he passes us behind us, pulling a trailer with a big sound system and burner equipment. I mean, he's got a boiling pot and everything.
And a boat canopy as his shade.
Right. And then a big flag.
On a gold flag?
No.
Okay.
A flag with a skull and crossbones that reads, "Surrender the booty." So so he continues.
I like where this is going.
He continues to drive about 50 yards away.
Okay.
Pulls up, blaring Nickelback. So we're
Look at this.
I like this guy.
yeah. I mean, just every Nickelback song you can hear. I think Hinder was in there. Lips of an Angel was
Yeah.
blaring. So we turned off our radio.
I mean, of course, you
right.
have the tunes you need.
He got out of his side by side. He's standing 6'3", $150.
So he's like me in high school.
Yeah, very
40
skinny.
pounds ago.
But extremely red. I mean, he's an islander. He lives there. He's a Grandillion.
Yeah.
Here, he's definitely living here. He works offshore. This is his weekend. He's here to party,
Yeah.
right? He approaches the tent. Immediately approaches the tent. Walks up to us and says, "You guys like crawfish?" Yeah, man, of course. Well, today's your lucky day.
You're in fucking luck,
yeah, I splurged. I bought a sack of crawfish. I ain't got no one to party with.
Shocker.
I wanted to give it to a random people because I want to spread good karma. So y'all can either I brought trays.
God-fearing man.
Y'all can make your tray and walk back to the tent, or y'all can party with me. And we were
Who's
like-
not going to party with surrender
well,
that
he
booty?
also had what looked like a girlfriend and 2 children, okay, that were playing in the sand,
Like
whatever.
5 and 2 years old.
Yeah. I immediately said, this dude's probably like 40. The guy we were with, we'll just say his name was Reeves, because that's his name.
Okay.
And Grant were both, I think, under the impression that he was in his mid-20s, but he was just rough.
Leathery
He's
skin.
seen some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still under the impression he's closer to 40. I think 36 might be a good call. Anyway.
We're not that far off there, Mike.
So we were like, hey, we appreciate it. Thank you. We'll come by. You know? He's like, I'll wave y'all over when they're ready. Meanwhile, we're hanging out. We're hitting some golf balls on the beach.
Is it a Titleist?
It was a Titleist. Anyway, he waves us over. The guys make our way over. We leave the women. The women are reading their books. They're chilling.
Game of Thrones, book 2.
Not Game of Thrones. I don't know what they're reading. I don't care.
Yeah.
Anyway, we go over there and we introduce ourselves, and right off the bat, this guy goes, "Listen, I ain't good with names, numbers, or dates,
Luckily, I'm not giving you my number, so good.
but you throw me crawfish and booty, hell, that's right up my alley." So that's how he introduced himself. And again, we were like, "Okay, so what's your name again?" And he's like, "My name is Buddy." Okay. Immediately, I notice across his.
No, they call me Buddy.
They call me Buddy. He doesn't really tell us his name. Across his
name's Geauxld.
across his lower abdomen, it says Cummins. Cummins Power. So I'm like, this dude's name's
Like in graffiti font.
yeah, his name's Buddy Cummins. Okay.
All right.
So we're here with this guy, Buddy Cummins, and I mean, incredible crawfish. Okay, like really good shit.
These are the biggest crawfish I think I've ever seen
Big
in my
crawfish.
life.
But he immediately dives into, I've had a lot of bad. I've done a lot of bad karma in my life. I'm trying to spread the good shit. So I ain't asking for nothing. I paid $100 for this sack.
Just so you know.
$100 for the toppings, but I ain't asking for nothing.
Was there corn?
There was corn.
That's
there
my
was.
favorite part of the boil.
So-
maybe the next Mount Gordy Rushmore is crawfish boil stuff. Hey, one for me, please.
Grant's getting a beer for those that are not watching. Anyway, so we start talking, and he's like, "Listen, I hope the women aren't afraid of the flag. It's just a suggestion. They don't have to surrender the booty." Anyway, the women make their way over about 10 minutes later, and he proceeds to mention the surrender the booty 3 more times.
Yeah.
So they're scared off. They
Yes,
leave.
of course. Who wouldn't be?
Okay, so we're talking to this guy. He works at the marina. He boils the crawfish. So he knows what he's doing. Great crawfish. But it's evident to me, I need to leave this situation within 10 to 15 minutes. This
If
is
not, you're stuck.
right, exactly. That's the point. So all of a sudden he starts talking about fishing. He's like, "Y'all been fishing?" You know, and we're like, "Nah, it's a little choppy. We're just kind of taking it easy today. We're watching, just people watching, and we're just taking it easy under the tent." Well, hell, I got 8 boats. We're like, "Okay, buddy." You know, like like that, cool. You know, like, "We're good today though." He's like, "Well, shit, I have a yacht." And we're like, "Buddy, we appreciate it, but we're gonna pass on the yacht today."
Oh, so you're just gonna fucking eat my crawfish
Right,
and
right.
dash?
That's
Right.
how we felt. I was
Right.
like, how do we get away nicely? Because he's going to stay here partying and keep looking at us like.
Right, and like, you ate my shit, and
Yeah.
so I'm
I
like,
paid $100 for all
50
this.
bucks.
yeah, so he's like, "Look, I'm telling you, like, it's a great yacht. It gets tons of booty. He proceeds to tell us that the girl that he was with likes booty.
Don't we all?
Just a friend of his that likes chicks, but yet is the mother of one of the children. It was just a long story. But anyway, I'm trying to make a long story short here and get to the funny parts. So Buddy is just begging us to get on this yacht. Like, "Man, y'all got to get on this yacht, like, today. We got to go." And so he goes, "So it's actually not my yacht."
Of course not.
Right. And he goes, "The guys whose yacht it is in jail. And we got to sell that shit quick to get him
He's
out
gotta
of
pay his
jail.
bail, obviously.
So we got to take advantage of it now, and we got to go. I got about half a tank of gas. Y'all just had to put up for fuel, $50 total." $50. We're like,
But the crawfish was free.
yeah, exactly. I just need $50. That's it. And so somehow I was like very persistent with, "Buddy, thanks. Here's a Modelo." I was drinking Modelo. I was like, "Here's a Modelo." He's like, "Whoa, all I drink is Bud Heavy and piss
American.
Bud Light." And I was like, "All right, fair enough." You know, like, I just appreciate it. I'm going back to my tent now. Thank you.
Yeah.
Reeves stayed. For whatever reason.
He's that kind of guy.
He was like, maybe he's got some bourbon. You know, he wanted to take a shot or two with this guy. I don't know what happened there. We end up leaving. That night, Buddy gave us a lot of material.
Yeah.
Right? So we're drinking. Buddy leaves us alone after that.
Nice guy.
We cut it off with
Okay.
Buddy. Thank you. Right? We're jamming on the front porch at 11, close to midnight.
Sing us a song, you're the piano man.
Right. So we decide to make a little song.
Yeah.
And we make a little ditty about Buddy Cummins.
Should I go grab the guitar?
No.
Okay.
But the chorus goes, It's not my boat, or it's not my yacht. It's not my problem. Get on the yacht, or we'll have some problems. It's just $50, or hell, I might rob them. Get on this yacht. It's not my problem. And so we're just.
That sounds like every country song I've ever heard.
It
So
was, it was a good time.
It was hysterical at the moment.
you only use like 3 chords, and now you got a country song.
It was C, G, C, G, C, C, G.
I
It
like
was just
that.
like
I
back
like
and
that.
forth, back and forth. And we were screaming
It's
it.
not my yacht.
Yeah, and we're like, it's not my problem. Like we were into it, like $50. Like
It's
I mean,
$50.
anyway,
I like it.
it looked like
A
a
tambourine.
hooker. Okay, was approaching us. So we're
plot thickens.
We're on the highway there.
She was thick too.
Low key.
We're on the highway. This is about midnight now, the main strip. And she looks like she's walking to Artie's or Rome's.
Yeah,
I don't know if
yeah.
Rome's is still there. But she's walking and
No.
she's rough. She looks like she's in for a good time, but not with us, right?
Obviously.
So-
we're adults.
All of a sudden, Grant and Reeves holler at her. They're like, "Hey, let's sing you a song." And so she stops and like looks up at the porch and she's like, "All right, sing me a fucking song." Like she's all like, "Whatever, let's see what you got." So
If she says y'all know Buddy Cummins, I'm gonna lose my fucking
Wait a
mind.
Brad.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump on your story.
So we start playing. We're like, "Get on the yacht!" Like we're singing the yacht song about Buddy Cummins. She gives us the hands, like, "Oh, to hell with you! Like y'all suck." She starts walking off, but like mocking us, like, "Oh, $50, whatever." All of a sudden, this truck comes pulling up with this big ass decal, "Surrender the booty." Pulls over and like picks her up.
Yes.
She's like, "Yeah," and like you see that they have a little dialogue, and she just jumps in the truck and they take off. I lose it. We lose it. Okay, because can you imagine?
It was not the same girl from the beach with the kids.
Can you imagine this chick jumping in this truck and it's Buddy Cummins, and she explains to him that she just got done listening to these 3 buffoons singing a song about someone that has a yacht.
He's like,
that's not-
motherfucker, that's me.
that's not theirs, and they just need $50. I don't know. Fun story. I thought it was hysterical. You only get that type of entertainment in Grand Isle.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much every time. I think you and I have been to Grand Isle like twice together, and every time it's been an experience to say the least.
Brian LeBlanc?
Brian LeBlanc was a funny one. I think Buddy Cummins takes the cake.
Yeah.
Just because of all the material we had from him.
Right.
But I felt like the pod.
It was almost like it was a move. Like, what was happening
I don't
out
know.
there? It was.
I don't know.
was
All
weird.
the while, someone's like
Bizarre.
dying in front of us with the Coast Guards,
Yeah.
like trying to rescue him. So
Sobers you up a
We
little
did
bit.
have a windsurfer,
yeah,
kite surfer.
he was a kite surfer. Okay. Anyway, fun time. I thought the Pot of Gold listeners would enjoy.
I enjoy.
Would enjoy our
so
weekend.
Fuck them if they didn't enjoy.
I have videos of this. If anyone's ever curious,
We'll post it.
We can maybe post.
We
it
might
of
post
what
it.
the actual setup looked like.
We'll have to text Buddy
It
and see if we
happened.
can get
On
the
top
rights.
of my weekend, though, I was 6 rows away from Dave Grohl and
yes,
the Foo Fighters.
Yes, how was it?
So it was incredible. The Fillmore was a great venue. 2,000 people. I will say this. Since they had to reschedule this concert, there was a lot of tickets available. My wife and I together, we paid a total of $500. The
That
people
hurts.
standing in front of us got in for $30.
Ooh, that's not the best.
No.
But
But it was amazing.
But-
they played for like 2.5 hours,
Yeah.
and we were basically front row, very interactive.
whether you like Foo Fighters or not, they put on the
They,
best
they
show.
are the only people that put on a true rock
They're
show
rock
anymore.
stars,
So it was
absolutely.
fun. If you're in the need for a rock show, if you're in the need for some power, you go see the Foo Fighters. So it was a blast, guys. I think we're ready.
Is it time?
I think it is time for the draft. The Mount Gordy Rushmore is about to begin.
the
And-
inaugural.
draft. I think it's a great position to start with wide receivers.
Wide receiver U. That was. I mean, what do you think came first? DBU? Probably DBU, right? Wide receiver U was kind of more the Odell Jarvis years. I don't want to give away any of my picks.
Yeah,
Just
but
saying.
it's not even a thing anymore.
Yeah.
You know,
You're right.
DBU lives on. So who knows? Maybe Joe Brady gets wide receiver U back in play. So
You putting us on the clock here?
I was just about to ask, are we getting timed?
I mean,
no, we don't need all
I don't
that.
think- yeah,
I think we
this-
have our picks ready.
Yeah, I think if you take 5, this isn't the NFL draft. Come
Okay,
on.
so
Yeah, when it
according
gets to the late rounds,
to Monster 32,
Yep.
We are going to start with Grant, and then myself, and then Brett.
Yeah, I got my
We are
post-it note
each-
of my notes here.
We are each picking 4 wide receivers, all from the year 2000 to 2019. So,
Yeah, if you want to take a current guy,
like
go for
Jamar
it.
Chase, Marshall, Justin Jefferson, all those kids are up for grabs.
Giles.
But also Josh Reed, Michael Clayton. I mean, those guys are all in the same group. So choose wisely, my friend.
And
Amp
I wanted to say, like, transfers on the table.
So you're talking Quinn, DRs, those cats.
Yeah, they're
yeah.
on my list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, but you have to understand
And this is solely what they did in college. This has
exactly.
nothing to do with the pros.
I wanted
yes.
to say that, but that's solely what they did at LSU.
so
Yes.
so like, all right,
Okay.
who knows who's on your board? But like Russell Shepard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a perfect. He's
Sneaky.
on the list. Like because we went through the list. There's literally 33 guys that
And
we
if
said.
you want to take guys on
even-
potential, if you want to say Russell Shepard should have been, could
Yeah.
have been awesome, I
you
mean,
could
go for
When
it.
I think when it comes to the end,
Russell's
at the
on
end of
my
the day,
Russell's up there with
right
me.
at
yeah,
the
he's
end of
first
the,
round pick, right?
At
No.
the end of the day, for this whole thing, I think we need to have a poll question to
Yeah.
all of our followers on
Absolutely.
Twitter and see who's got the best. Yeah, that's what it comes down.
Okay, let's begin.
All right, here we go. I'm
Should've
on
had
the
a
clock.
soundbite.
So with the first pick, or no, Grant, you were on the clock. And I
Yes.
think you just announced, hey, with the first pick,
All right, so for my first pick in the
Mount
Gordy
Gordy. Gordy.
Mount Gordy
Gee,
Rushmore.
fuck is that?
I'm gonna
Beers.
too many Bud heavies. I'm going with Josh Reed. No brainer. The only Blitnikoff winner at the school.
Tons of records.
Tons of records. He was in that era where we didn't see receivers like that.
Yeah.
And since these other guys, I'm sure their names will come up. He was the first one to be that. In this era of receivers, he was the guy.
By
Yeah.
far has the single season record for 100-yard receiving games in a single season.
So I enjoyed. So over the weekend we made this list.
Yeah,
of-
y'all were scheming behind my back.
We tried to include you.
I was like, Mike, yeah, just let me know after the concert when which one you want to do. And you were like, yeah, we'll talk later.
No, but Josh Reed was the first guy that was on that list.
Has
That's
to
like you got to include Josh Reed in this list, and I think that's one of the bigger reasons why I said let's start with 2000
Yeah.
because you got guys like Josh Reed that you do remember being that first big time wide receiver that was kind of in our memory. You
Number
know?
36 overall pick, second round guy. Kind of surprising. I understand like the league is completely different compared to what it was in 2000 on my computer. I was worried about that. All right, Mike, it's your pick though. You can keep.
Okay, it is my pick. We are going to keep going. We have some technical difficulties that the first round picker, Grant, is going to take care of with Brett. So anyway, with the second overall pick of this draft, the first of mine, I'm going Jarvis Landry.
Shit.
I'm going Jarvis
Are
Landry.
you kidding me? I thought there was no chance.
No.
I thought I was getting Jarvis 100% in this swing spot.
Okay, so Jarvis Landry to me
I gotta look at this now.
encompasses everything that embodies LSU as a wide receiver.
Yep.
He is not only my favorite, he was exciting to watch
agree.
in a time where we needed excitement from the wide receivers. He brought it back when there was a big lull. I think Jarvis Landry is a guy that I remember watching at Lutcher and just thinking like, I cannot wait till this kid is at LSU. He's undersized, but he is like the Tyrann Mathieu of the wide receiver.
And he's
have to
brought
have
that
him.
into the pros. I know this is only to do with LSU, but this guy he's the locker room guy. There's no one you'd rather on your team. He's not a diva. He's about winning.
Yeah.
I love Jarvis. Jarvis is one of my favorite Tigers of all time.
Of all time, and I felt like if we're picking wide receivers, that has to be my number one pick. If I had the opportunity to do it, it's Jarvis Landry.
Well,
so.
thanks, Monster. Now it's Monster 32. Now I can't take him.
All right, go for it, Brett.
I mean, look, you have to take Odell in this spot. I didn't think he would get the 3. This
Maybe.
dude was the number 12 pick.
Is that your pick?
Yeah, I'm going to take Odell.
That's a great pick.
You know, I think Odell probably showed even more excitement in the NFL. Obviously, he was great. He's a great returner. He used to sit on the kickoff return and like one-hand catch in the end zone. That was pretty badass.
Yeah, no, he was sick, and it was a tough decision for me to battle between Odell and Jarvis. I do have a couple dudes higher than Odell, only because I look at their time at LSU and just Jarvis for me was just Odell was not Odell to me until he was in the pros.
Yep. Look, I agree. I thought you were going to take Odell, and I was going to sit here with Jarvis and be happy about it. So look, I'm with you, but I can't just.
He's
pass.
incredible.
I can't pass
He's one of the best ever at LSU. So yeah, good pick.
One of the best athletes. People forget. Track star in the family. Like his mom's a track star.
So we have Josh Reed, Jarvis Landry, and Odell Beckham Jr. as the top 3 picks in this draft. Pretty cool. I think that's a pretty solid 3 there.
Imagine throwing those out there.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
2 of them played together. Wow. So.
All right, so round 2, Grant, you.
No, snake draft.
Snake draft, right?
Yeah, we're gonna swing. This one, I'm going to take a guy who is potentially probably the most versatile guy, could probably play any position on the field or any skill position. I'm going to go Michael Clayton.
Damn it, that was my second pick.
I know.
too.
I know.
Yeah, great pick. Michael Clayton.
Number 15 overall
first round
pick.
draft pick.
Yeah.
Just animal. I think this is one of the guys that I really wanted to emphasize. We're looking at his LSU career.
Yeah, he had a little bit. His pro career definitely wasn't as great as people anticipated. This dude, man, he was just the most solid receiver you could ask for in college.
Absolutely. I think he's a big-bodied receiver, a guy that started off on defense because he could smack you around, but transitioned to wide receiver because of his catching ability, his route running ability, his attention to detail. He was just all around. As a kid growing up, in my early days of loving LSU, I remember Michael Clayton just being so big and clutch.
And look, obviously, Josh Reed, we remember that, but Michael Clayton was kind of that first dude where I really remember being all in.
First star,
Yeah.
as a national star. I mean,
I
Josh
kinda
Reed
remember
sure
Josh
was.
Reed, but I wasn't all in on football,
Right.
And it wasn't this big primetime event that football has become. I just remember Michael Clayton. They would always put him on block kick and stuff like that, and you're just oh, he can play any position. It's oh, some NFL teams are looking at him at DB. That's how good he is, and stuff like that. Goes to the Tampa Bay Bucks and doesn't really have the.
He had an alcohol
greatest.
problem.
It happens to the best of us. Sponsored by
Budweiser.
Budweiser.
Cheers. So Jarvis was my first pick. Michael Clayton was my
It
second.
has to be. Clayton was. Odell and Clayton this first round.
It's
They're
tough.
kind of both
It's
first round
tough.
if I get the swing pick.
Do I go?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
you.
Okay. So, wow. So pick 2. I go 2 the whole time.
Yeah, that's kind of how the middle works.
Nice. Well, I didn't know if it's I kind of have an edge there. So the one guy I had in front of Odell here, who would be my number 3 pick, was Dwayne Bowe.
Yep. It was hard for me. I had to take Clayton over Dwayne Bowe.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Contacts Dwayne Bowe or not contacts Dwayne Bowe?
Contacts.
Oh, okay.
LASIK.
LASIK, whatever it
Dwayne Bowe.
was.
Dwayne Bowe was kind of in that same class as Michael Clayton, as that big receiver that was so clutch.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you bring up the topic of his vision change. Dwayne Bowe was a big time recruit out of Florida. We got him in, and he was successful. I can kind of compare him to the modern day Terrace Marshall. He made some plays. He had a lot of potential, but blew up toward his latter part of the career because of LASIK surgery.
Yeah.
And he was just catching everything and running people over.
Well, and Dwayne
First
Bowe,
round draft pick as well.
Number 23 overall in the draft. Dwayne Bowe was the type of guy, and I think you can kind of compare him to Odell in this sense, where he was so good, but he would drop passes and it would kind of get you frustrated. You're this dude's so much better. Why is this? And then, it comes out he can't see, allegedly, and he has the surgery. But it was one of those guys that you thought had a ton of potential, and then towards the very end of his LSU career, you saw it in front of your eyes. The dude was incredible.
Yeah, he absolutely was. Go ahead, Grant.
Grant, you're up, buddy.
It's a tough spot here.
It is a
'cause
tough spot.
Those
You get a
5
swing
are-
pick, though.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
Explain the swing
Okay.
pick for the.
Yeah, in the snake
so,
draft. So he's going to get
I
picks.
get back-to-back picks right here.
Gotcha.
So I'm gonna go with. You can't go wrong with Early Doucette.
No, you can't. That was my next.
He
pick.
was.
I have
mean,
one
he's at
guy
the
ahead
top
of Early, but Early
Okay.
is a stud.
He was. I just liked hearing his name on TV. He had some big catches. He always had clutch catches. For either touchdowns or all of his plays seem big and crucial. I feel
Early
like he was
Doucette
probably
seems like
the
one of the
best
best
name.
athletes.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say best name.
Yeah, wasn't he a I think he was a basketball all-state basketball player too.
He played soccer in high school.
I think he played beach volleyball.
I think I don't want to throw any shade on Les Miles. I think if Nick Saban would have stayed at LSU, I think just the offensive direction. I know we still had some good offenses there with Les. I think the attention to detail kind of lacked a little bit. I think early Doucette's career would have been much better under Nick Saban. I think he would have performed a lot better towards those latter years, but he still was an elite receiver. I mean, look, we're still picking him in that top tier echelon there. Early Doucette was a phenomenal athlete, someone that's going to be picked for somebody's return man. You know, a top athlete in LSU history. Early Doucette is an excellent pick.
You're up, Mike.
No, it's me.
Shit.
I was about to say, wait,
I was
wait,
giving you shit for not getting it, and then
I'm
I
gonna
messed it
go
up. It's
with
tough.
man, this is tough.
You can't say
I'm
pass.
torn between these two guys.
Gotta
just
pick
don't pick
one.
the guy that I'm thinking.
I'm gonna go a little bit different. I'm gonna go with Brandon LaFell.
See,
Thank
that was the guy I
God.
was gonna say. It was
Really?
JoJo. Yeah.
I've got Joe a little further down.
Because
He's solid though. He's
his
solid.
numbers, if you look at his numbers, he was consistent throughout his whole career. I don't feel like he wowed you a whole lot, but he had some big games, big crucial moments, and put up some hella numbers.
Hello.
Hella. Can I tell you
and
why?
followed up that other generation.
Can I tell you why I had LaFell so high?
Hmm.
Equipment manager, 2008, whatever it
Give
was.
us the story.
There was a lot of, like, you know, our boy Bill Blackwell said there was a lot of, like, practices were long. There was a little bit of downtime, position groups. He's explaining in detail how to game the system of when you went into, like, a science exam and there was, like, 5 different colors of the exams and the Scantrons and everything. Ever since Saban put up that Cox Building teaching lab, like, they kind of were like, hey, guys, this is how it goes. And all these dudes were like, oh, shit, yeah. Like, it was awesome. It was great.
Okay, cool story.
You're welcome.
All right, my pick.
You get those all the time.
Is
Yeah,
it
you're
me?
up.
Is it me?
Yeah, you're up.
I'm gonna go with my third pick of my draft to join Jarvis Landry and Dwayne Bowe. I'm gonna go with Craig Buster Davis.
Yep.
That's exactly who I had to pick out of.
Craig Davis was Mr. Reliable. He was the guy that was kind of overshadowed in that, not overshadowed. He was just that guy that was almost like the little guy with Dwayne Bowe, but followed Michael Clayton. But you also had like his
Doucette.
you
So
had
dependable.
you had Doucette as like the next Buster Davis.
Yeah.
It was like he was caught in the middle there of just an elite group, but he was elite enough to, wasn't he a first rounder?
Yes, 30th pick
Yeah,
overall.
yeah. I mean, like the guy went in the first round because he was that elite. He just wasn't talked about enough because he was in such good company. I think Craig Davis had such clutch hands. I mean, this guy found a way to get open. He wasn't your guy that was your best athlete where he's going to be your return man, but he would always be in that starting lineup, always going to be on the field. He played early and often.
Almost a poor man's Jarvis, a guy you could
Absolutely.
always count on.
Absolutely. I think I think Jarvis coming up through the rankings, I think when he signed with LSU, it was like, hey, this is the next Buster Davis.
We can do player comps. We don't need websites to do that. We used to have friends at websites.
Go for it, Brett.
All right, look, this one's kind of tough. Buster Davis was definitely coming off the board for me right there if you didn't take him. I don't know if I'm just like kind of caught up in like one of the iconic moments of LSU in the last years.
I think he's my next guy too.
I got to go Skylar Green.
Ooh, whoa, curveball. I thought you were talking about somebody else, but
That catch against Georgia was kind of the turn of LSU
that's
football.
a big pick. That's a big guy off the
But
board.
he gets back to back, so it could.
He's going to take both of the big guys.
Good, yeah.
I can't take D Bird. I want to take D Bird.
You want to take D Bird?
because
Take
of
D
the
Bird.
you can't see me. I want it.
No,
want
but
it
D
a
Bird.
lot.
Never mind. I'm not going to convince you to take D Bird.
No. This one's tough, man. I think I kind of want to go a little bit more on what he could have been as much as production. A guy you and I kind of sat up in the dorms talking about what could have been. There was talk about his commitment during the middle of a final. Ruben Randall.
That's a big pick. That's a big.
Have to.
I think he's what happened with Ruben was that he played in a bullshit offense.
Yep, he came in at the worst time.
The absolute worst time, but a guy that was just incredible. And listen, if you're putting together a roster for your own team and you get to pick the OC, which maybe we can do something like that.
Ooh. I'll take Insminger.
We can play off of the potential of these players, even if they didn't live up to it. So Ruben Randall there could be an elite pick. I think that's a great pick. Ruben Randall.
He's on my list.
Yeah, Ruben's definitely on my list here.
I think at the end, with the our last guy, where we don't have to necessarily put it in there, is almost like your what if. The guy that is not going to be on your list, but you think in a different scenario could have been like a dude. Because I have one on here that just like jumps off this page.
So you're done.
I'm done. I'm out. There's my 4.
What are your 4?
I don't know. Odell, Michael
on the
Clayton,
screen.
Skylar Green, and
Ruben
Randall. That's a squad.
That
dude.
is tight.
That is a squad.
That's great. That's great. So with my last pick, I'm going to go Devery Henderson.
Yes, that it was hard to pass on Devery.
Devery is another guy that I might be skewed because of his Saints career.
Yeah.
He kind of was like the Ted Ginn back in the day. He's
a
just
burner.
a burner that every now and then would just come up with the miracle, which happened, the Bluegrass Miracle.
Jack Hunt.
But Devery Henderson,
time.
if you go back and look at some of the highlights, you go back and review what we did last summer. We went back and watched a lot of the old games. Devery Henderson was clutch.
Yep.
He was a guy that had some faulty hands at times, but he was the fastest man on the team, was there in the early beginnings of the rebuild of LSU football.
2nd round pick to the Saints.
Yeah, he was one of the big names coming out with Michael Clayton around that same time, where Devery Henderson was just a phenomenal athlete that you had to have on the field. So I think if you look back, I think Devery Henderson is a solid pick that's up there with the best of them.
Of course you do. You picked them. No, that is a solid pick. Grant, do you have your last one ready to go? It's tough. I mean, I don't know. A couple guys that are still on the board. You have
Yeah, let's go through some of that.
DJ
So
Chark,
as the final
You still have
pick,
Abram Booty.
Yeah.
as the final pick.
Malachi Dupree, Trenton Holiday.
Yeah. I'll tell you which 2 I think it's out of.
Okay.
I think it's for me, or which 3?
Okay.
It's
Or
out
7.
it's out of Shark, DJ Shark.
Yeah, we know who.
Yeah,
that
we-
is.
Traven Durrell, and D Bird.
I think that's an easy pick. I think Terrence Tolliver and Jared Mitchell should probably be included in that
Okay.
too.
See,
Terrence
we'll talk about that in
Tolliver,
a second.
Terrence
Potential.
Tolliver over Mitchell. But
Remember that spin move Tolliver did against Florida when he caught that
Sick.
slant over the middle and just spin moved and took it? That was
Yeah.
great.
Are we?
That was awesome.
all right, I'm gonna,
We're including Trenton Holiday too.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, we're saving him for something else when we get to defensive end.
Okay.
Funny. Funny.
I'm not going to do it. We've already hit the laugh track twice.
Yeah.
I'm going with, if you're watching the board, Demetrius.
Good
Bird.
pick.
Bird. I love
pick.
D Bird, man.
It's one of those guys, and I see him all the time now on social media, and like, he's just such a nice guy. I've seen him out plenty of times. He's always been nice to talk to people.
Is that
sign
why you're
autographs.
picking him, or are you picking
No,
him because
I'm
of the
just saying,
Auburn game?
The Auburn game was obviously a huge instrumental play in that entire season. I just feel like he belongs in there.
So
And he wasn't even in the recruiting class.
Yeah. All right, so let's go back around. Grant, you start. We'll go Mike, then me. You're like, what if? A guy that you would have put on this.
So our honorable
honorable
mentions.
mentions.
Yeah, an honorable mention, but more of a potential type of guy that maybe didn't have the best career at LSU.
Yeah. Grant, you want to go?
Grant, you're up.
The one that I thought
Tolliver's-
would have been on
It's
this
tough.
list.
It's between those two that we're thinking of.
Yeah.
So who's the guy that I thought still had a good career or could have
A wild card
who I
guy.
wished would
A
have
Russell Shepard type, a guy who didn't really produce a ton, but had potential in a different offense under a different regime.
I think
Something-
Just like Russell
I
Shepard
think
with
the
the
guy-
Bucks,
yeah.
you know.
I think one guy that I wished for that would have been great was Trey Quinn.
yeah, look,
And that never and he's on the entire list because that's how good he was coming in over here. Another guy, like y'all said,
Whoa,
Terrence-
whoa, 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 whoa! You
Are we
had
just
your
going
guy.
on?
yeah,
You
Okay,
had
that's
your,
it. That's it.
You picked one.
You had your guy. Mine is a tough choice, which I think I'm going to pick one of them and you'll pick the
Yeah.
other. And the reason I'm going to go with Jared Mitchell is because watching him in high school
He
just
was something.
totally just just absolutely destroy is not even the good word.
He's an ambidextrous quarterback.
I have a story. I have a couple
Just
stories about Jared Mitchell that we'll get
Annihilate
into in
St.
just a second.
Paul's
Yep.
in the playoffs.
Had like 530 total yards in that game.
I became obsessed with this guy. And I think if it wasn't for his just phenomenal baseball career in college, and if he focused more on football, the man would have been a runaway for one of my top 4 picks.
Yep.
I think Jared Mitchell is that guy that just was such a phenomenal athlete that football was just something he did to stay in shape, and it was just fun. He was also caught up in a bullshit time for wide receivers where he didn't get to be utilized to the best of his abilities. He was probably the best athlete on our football team. Overall, best athlete probably on our baseball team. Jared Mitchell, hands down, is my honorable mention.
I'm going to talk about Jared Mitchell here for a couple minutes. I thought you were going to take Terrence Tolliver. I'm obviously going to take Terrence Tolliver, a guy that that could have been a potential like first round pick in this list and just kind of got into the shuffle. Great guy, Mitchell. So when I worked for the team, it was Mitchell's last year, and everyone knew he was going to be a baseman. And so he and I used to just throw the ball back and forth while everyone was doing their stretching and stuff. And he was like, "Hey, make it look like I'm doing something, because whatever." And so we would just be throwing back and forth before the game, or before every practice. And one day we were sitting in the indoor, and he was on like the sidelines, and he was like, "Let's see if you can do this." Takes it, throws it all the way across the field, and hits the wall on the other side. I'm like, I don't think I can do this. So, I like crow hop and make the best throw of my life, and I don't think I even get it close.
Sure.
Like 50 yards. And so he was like, "Oh, man, that wasn't bad. Do this." And took it with his left hand, and I swear pinged the exact same spot on the wall, 50-something yards across the field on the indoor.
He's
and hit the
amazing.
wall.
He was amazing. He
I heard he used to roll out in high school.
He
to
would
both
throw with
sides.
whatever hand. I swear,
Yeah.
I kid you not, Grant. Like, it was a bullet with both the right hand and left hand, 50 whatever yards across the field, and hit the wall in the indoor.
Whenever everyone was getting excited about Russell Shepard coming to LSU and we were watching his highlights, I remember saying, this dude's really, really good. But he's just shy of how explosive Jared Mitchell was.
Yeah.
Like those type of highlights was what Jared was doing at Westgate, but like had none of the hype.
Jared Mitchell used to make like savage, like Odell Jarvis type plays in practice, and he would just like start dancing in the end zone and shit. They'd be like reloading the play, and he didn't care. Like he was just in the end zone dancing.
He probably should have been our quarterback
Yes.
as he's chewing sunflower seeds.
Yes, absolutely.
So let's go through our picks. Grant, you ended up with a wide receiver core of Josh Reed, Early Doucette, Brandon LaFell, and Demetrius Byrd.
It's okay.
I ended up with Jarvis Landry, Dwayne Bowe, Craig Buster Davis, and Devery Henderson. And Brett, you rounded out with Odell Beckham, Michael Clayton, Skylar Green, and Ruben Randall.
Early thoughts?
Early thoughts is that Brett. I kind of feel like
you're
you've
damn
got.
right.
I don't know.
I think I got the best squad.
They're all very solid. I mean, you can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong. But my thing, I think Brett's Odell and Clayton grouping. I think Skylar Green is that curveball in there. That's kind of like you think of his highlights, you don't think of his full career.
Imagine that dude in the slot.
I know.
Jet sweeps.
I know. Top heavy, what like
I don't see his name on the statistical list here.
That's fine.
So he's not.
as far as memory goes, I feel like your guys stand out to me.
How many national championships are on y'all's board? Yeah, that's what I thought.
I've got
I got a couple.
no. Devery won one.
Devery.
Didn't
All right.
Devery wasn't he in 03 or did he already?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Uh,
definitely.
Craig Davis
They're
was
actually
there.
in the same class.
Yeah, I think all my dudes
Shit. All right. That's not really a thing we're going to talk
except for
about.
Jarvis.
Xavier Carter, no one picked him.
I think they're all great. I think I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say yours is the best.
I
And
do.
some dude on Twitter is just like, yeah, Mike said Brett's was the best. So
Yeah. So vote for Brett.
no.
Here's
But we're gonna vote for the whole roster. We're not voting for each
Well, we're
one.
going to post this on Twitter and let people vote. And then at the end, we're going to do a whole 22.
I know what you're up to.
Yeah.
So-
No, look.
here's another. There's another name is Benny Brazil.
That's not.
Loved watching him
It's
play.
not even close. That is not. I would rather have Chris Tolliver.
I'd rather have Xavier Carter up there.
on special teams.
Chris Tolliver actually performed a little bit.
He had his moments
Buckwheat?
for sure. Buckwheat.
Wasn't
I
his
forgot.
nickname
Yes,
Buckwheat?
100%. That was his
James
name.
Wright had a great. You know who's not on here? Cadron Boone had a little bit of a career.
Okay.
I think we're gonna look back at this and say, "Damn, nobody picked Jamar Chase."
I was looking literally.
You know what I
was
mean?
looking
Or
at
Justin
Jamar Chase,
Jefferson.
but they
He
haven't
was-
done enough to be on
No,
this
absolutely
list.
not. Absolutely not. But listen to our 12 there, though. Josh Reed, Early Doucette, LaFell, Bird, Henderson, Davis, Bo, Landry, Beckham, Clayton, Green, and Randall. Solid.
Yeah, I mean that's for 2 decades. I mean and there's some guys on that list that can absolutely play, or some guys not on that list that can absolutely play.
So, guys, next week we're going to transition into DBs. Tough.
That one's gonna get.
That's dirty. So let's talk about this before we do it next week. Let's lay down some ground rules. Are we picking 2 DBs or 2
I think
corners?
if you want to pick 4 safeties, that's on you. We're trying to pick the best 4. That's my opinion.
I don't
had
agree
another
because-
idea. I had another idea.
Okay,
Because
let's
I
hear
need
it.
a safety. What if you
Because
just pick all
this
safeties?
was my idea.
Kelvin Joseph.
Is that we get a draft order together, whatever.
Okay.
You're right. You're right.
And
There's a
then
lot
we
of
say,
them.
all right, this is just corners. You're picking who you want to line up at cornerback for you.
Not nickel.
2 of them.
Not safeties.
No,
See,
you want to line
okay.
up 2 corners.
But
Then you're
you
gonna
can
pick-
move it at the end. You
then
can
you're
move
gonna-
them at
Then
the
you're
end.
going to go and pick 2 safeties. Okay, back to back,
I
whatever.
don't love this,
And
but
then we're
okay.
going to have a bonus DB pick, hybrid, nickel, whatever, Tyrann Mathieu type. But you could pick Tyrann
So
as
many
your
people
cornerback
are
or
gonna
safety,
get-
and he's
I
on your
don't know.
roster.
I don't know. This one's gonna get heated. We'll figure it out.
But
Well, we'll have to look at when I can. So
but why?
The list
No,
is,
hold on. But why? Because
Look, the list is
I
done.
think
Here's the
safety
players we're
at
talking
LSU
about.
I don't know, man. I just think if I want to take Patrick Peterson, Tyrann Mathieu, I don't know, Morris
They're not
Claiborne.
all going to be on the list.
I
'cause
get
I'm
it,
gonna.
but-
I know, but here's the thing: are you really going to play Morris Claiborne at safety and
I
just be like, "It's my DBs"?
I don't know. See, I look at this as like 4 DBs, not necessarily who
No, I
you're
think
filling.
it's-
Because when we
No, we need to do
the,
5. I think we do 5 because we
have you
have
ever
so
looked
many.
at Mount Rushmore? I don't think there's
Do you
5.
have you looked at what David Aranda puts out on the field?
Yeah. See, that's the thing. We're getting into this. So
No,
because
no.
then all of a sudden, am I going to take a hybrid safety because like, oh, Jacoby Stevens?
How often
hybrid
have we
safety.
put 4 receivers
Stop.
on the field?
Stop.
This is getting intense.
I think it's 4. I think
we have
think
to
it's
stick with
5.
4.
I think we keep it easy with 4. I think it's 2 corners and 2 safeties.
I mean, am I just not going to be able to pick Ed Paris because I've already got 2 corners? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
no, Ed Paris.
I was thinking about Carnell Hatcher.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, you can't pick Patrick Peterson, all these guys, and be like, "Well, Pat P's my strong safety," and just
I don't
hoard
know.
it.
I don't know.
Because like we're gonna need that for a corner.
I don't like this. I don't like it at all.
So you just want to pick
The
4 DBs.
Yeah, not necessarily because at the end of this, we're gonna actually fill out a roster where
Yeah.
you're gonna need 2 and 2, and this doesn't necessarily tie into this. This is just the DBs. I don't know. Look,
All right,
I
we'll
don't
talk
know.
about.
Trust you, people.
Do we have any more comments?
No.
Monster
Thanks for
32 is
asking.
the only guy.
Yeah, but hey, thanks for joining the live stream. I don't know. Do we have anything else to talk about before we get out of here?
No, I think this was fun, exciting. We're over an hour.
Yeah, I know. It went long. Well, Billy Cummins, Buddy
Cummins
Yeah.
took up 10 minutes.
I know. I mean,
I'm
just
sorry.
saying. No. Yeah, if you could like run that by me next time before, like type it out or something.
Yeah, Solo.
Let me peer review it.
All right,
Not my pod, not my problem.
All right, Han Solo.
Look, guys, thanks for everyone that's joined in the live stream, and you're gonna everyone joining the pod. Hit us up on.
Thanks for everybody for joining, guys. Next week we're gonna be drafting DBs.